To learn more about Treedots, we are going to talk with co-founder Jiacai Lau here and hear his thoughts about salvaging edible food, of course, and challenges that might prevent it from truly taking off. JC, how are you? Good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Hi, good morning.
Morning. So just quickly, this is, food loss is something very unfortunate, but we know that it's something that must have happened often because there is no way that a supermarket, for instance, can sell 100% of all of their produce, right? So what drives you to believe that ugly or unwanted food can become business opportunities as well?
Actually, our idea came from our different experiences with unsold inventories. So for me personally, I did my exchange in Germany. And one of the interesting things that we see there is that in supermarkets, they actually have huge corners that they sell unsold inventories and at a discounted price. However, when we're back in Asia, we don't really see this culture being practiced, mainly because there is a difference in environmental awareness from Europe versus Southeast Asia. So we have saw the success in European and US market, and we thought that this can be brought over to Southeast Asia as well.
Oh, nice.
So, JC, there's you mentioned earlier that we don't have that culture here, or at least did not at that time. So it was actually the three of you that established Treedots back in 2017. What made the three of you realize that this could work in Singapore?
We actually did a lot of pilot tests. We will go down to industry area and speak to suppliers, speak to multiple merchants, food businesses to understand whether there is a market for such products to sell to. So one very interesting thing that we see is that actually this is a well-known knowledge among the food industry, but people are not aware of how to get their hands on such products. And what we are doing is just making this channel more well-known and helping to distribute these products to more people who wants to get their hands on. Because in food industry, actually, as long as the food is edible, the food is still in good quality, and the price is right, actually it is very, very desirable.
So, as you mentioned before, it is common knowledge in the industry already, but the access towards this kind of market or particular products was probably not that available yet. So speaking of, in addition to that though, did you have to do any additional education? Like, are Singaporeans also aware of food loss that is happening in the country? And how do you educate or encourage them to choose Treedots products, which are essentially unsold inventories?
Yeah, definitely. I think education is a big part of our business. For food merchants or businesses, not so much, because in general, when we're dealing directly with these businesses, they are more open to this idea as long as the products are of great quality and it's cheap and they can get their hands easily on it. We cover the logistics and stuff like that. But when we deal with consumers, it's another whole part of the world, because consumers have this idea that all food waste or food loss are spoiled items, near expiry, bad quality, but that hasn't been really the case. What we are seeing is that these products are actually all excess quantity that suppliers were unable to clear. In fact, one of the examples that we have is that one of our fresh poultry supplier, he typically sells about 70 or 80% of his inventory, and he will throw away the 20% because there just isn't enough demand to purchase his product. Yeah.
Okay, so JC, I'm very interested to find out, what is your target market? I mean, I consider myself a target market because I don't care what my food looks like before it gets onto my plate.
That's
I mean, it looks nice it's going to look the same on my plate anyway. But what is your target market, and specifically, has that target market grown? Because you did mention that price is a factor, and we do know we're in the middle of a pandemic where people are, looking to save a little bit here, a little bit there. Has your target market actually grown since the pandemic started?
Definitely. I would say that businesses are growing on a month-to-month basis, but it depends on which phase of pandemic we're at actually. So we sell directly to two segments of businesses. One is direct to consumer, and the other one is direct to food businesses. Whenever there is like a lockdown or when the pandemic gets serious, food businesses definitely purchase lesser. but consumers actually start to purchase more. This is normally driven by their illogical desire to like purchase more products or to stockpile and stuff like that. Yeah. And it helps that our products are cheaper, and we normally deal with raw ingredients like fresh chickens, fresh and frozen products. So during the hard times of pandemic, it actually helps the consumer quite a fair bit.
Nice.
And speaking of direct consumer buying, right? How do we access, or how does the transaction work? Do you have? Is it only web-based, or do you have an application for it? How direct consumers can also buy from your products from Treedots?
Right. For our consumer, they actually can access our application through mobile. So we have a mobile app that allows them to purchase these products. What's different here is that we run a different direct-to-consumer model. Instead of your typical e-commerce where they make a purchase and then we just deliver to their house, we actually run a group buy model because we believe that this is a more sustainable manner of selling directly to end consumer. So how it works is that in every neighborhood there is actually one, we call them the host or advocate, that actually help to consolidate orders in the neighborhood, and the consolidated orders will then be submitted to the suppliers, and they will then make the delivery directly to the host, where he will help to do the distribution, repacking of the products. So in this way, we don't need the suppliers or ourselves to be delivering to multiple households, which is very damaging to the environment due to the carbon footprint and the unnecessary resources used.
True. So, JC, that part is unique, and I'm interested to know more about how does it work if you're a host. Is there an extra added benefit? If, let's say, I become the host for my neighborhood, is there something that's added benefit for me or added benefit in savings, perhaps?
Yes, for the host, they are incentivized to help. In fact, they are in kind of like part of the community where they are paid whenever they are selling or helping to distribute to these consumers.
Right.
So typically a percentage will go to them as part of their hard work for doing the labor work, like repacking the products, which these suppliers are kind of outsourcing to them now.
Right.
Suppliers don't like to deal with the last mile part of delivery where they have to
true.
pack to consumer level and stuff like that. So these tasks are actually handed off to the host to do it.
Hey, win-win situation for everyone, I suppose.
So just out of curiosity, right? If I were just a scenario, if I were to try as a consumer, so I would go to this, I'd go to the application, I'd order it, and then Paul would be the host, right? So Paul would receive the group order from the suppliers, and when it's my time and I get my supplies and my orders, it's up to Paul and how he wants to distribute it. Is it a direct communication with me, or is there any certain ways that you do it? So does the supplier instantly come the host contact us to deliver it, or do we pick it up, or is it just the mutual understanding, however it works best?
Typically how it works is that the consumer will go pick it up from the host. In our app itself, there's actually group chats where the host will be announcing like, hey, your goods are here, please come and do the collection within the next 2 to 3 hours, as the products are fresh, so they can't really leave it out there for quite a long extended period. Although hosts also have like ice boxes and stuff to keep the products, but typically the host will only be around for like maybe half a day or 3/4 of a day, so there is a need for them to collect as soon as the products arrive.
Sure.
Nice.
Okay, so as a customer, how much am I looking at here on average? How much can I save when it comes to my kind of weekly or monthly grocery bills?
I think typically if you compare it to the supermarkets, the saving can be minimally 20% all the way up to like 60-70%,
Wow.
depending on the type of products that you are getting.
That is a huge difference.
That's a huge
I
difference.
could certainly cut half of my grocery bill. Could use that.
Instantly. But when it comes to suppliers, right? And we know that you are changing the mindset that previously people should think these are actually near expiration dates, but actually it's just in excess that suppliers just cannot sell and need a new channel to sell from. What standards do you apply for your partnerships to maintain the food quality as well?
For Singapore and Malaysia both, how we do it is that regardless of the product, we actually make a purchase from the supplier, and the act of purchase actually require the suppliers to fulfill the food laws in terms of the quality, in terms of all kinds of food regulations in order for them to sell to us, and it's still legal. So typically we don't take in like free food donations and then we try to sell them. Regardless, we always pay the suppliers and we make sure that they are in compliance with the regulations. Of course, for our team, once we take over the products, we also do our QC to make sure that the products itself are not having any quality issue and whatnot. But typically, to date, we haven't had such a problem at all.
JC, we're not just talking about fresh food and dried goods here. You guys offer things like desserts, snacks, even health supplements. This expansion, it makes sense, obviously, because things like health supplements also have an expiry date. This platform is looking more and more like an online supermarket over time. So what is your long-term plan when it comes to Treedots?
So for Treedots, what we want to do is to offer a channel for suppliers and they can clear off these products because typically the suppliers that we deal with are upstream suppliers where they are like manufacturers or they are like slaughterhouses, and typically they do not have a channel to sell directly to consumers.
Right.
So by opening this up, this actually helps them to create a variable channel where if they have unsold inventories, they can push it into this channel itself. But we have to make sure that the product and the platform itself is user-friendly for them because a lot of them are very legacy family business, right? Where they don't have much exposure to tech.
Right. Yeah, I can get that.
So I guess one last question for me is, where do you see your Treedots expanding in the next couple of years? Because you've already expanded to Malaysia. Do you see more building more partnerships in different countries? Do you see, we've already seen the diversification of your products. So what's next for Treedots?
Yeah, so for us, we are expanding in Malaysia. Currently, we are in one city, but we are expanding to multiple cities in the next couple of months. And we are also looking to enter another Southeast Asia country, either Philippines or Indonesia. But for that, we are still strategizing to see what makes the most sense for us to take as the next step.
So what would be the next step? Because I'm thinking if this works in Indonesia, there's a whole different kind of infrastructure here. The delivery systems are different. Would you have to kind of start almost from scratch again and kind of do pilot projects again to test out the market here? Or do you think that same business model will likely be able to be applied in other countries such as Indonesia?
We believe from what we are seeing that unsold inventory is a problem in every country. But rightfully, like you mentioned, logistics system is different, storage system is different as well. So I think that is why for every country we always have our country launcher as an anchor for us to learn the knowledge that is more applicable locally and adapt the business model accordingly. But I would say that 60 to 70, whereas the 20-30% is the one that we need to adapt to.
Right. Okay. Well, if this is definitely something that is unique, it's forward-thinking, and it's definitely helpful to the environment.
Yes.
All things that we are interested in. So we do hope that Treedots does venture into our country sooner than later. If you guys are interested to know more, please do check out www.thetreedots.com. Or if you're like me and you love social media, check them out on Instagram @thetreedots. JC, thank you so much for your time. We really do appreciate a deeper look inside Treedots, and good luck with your business. We hope it continues to grow fruitfully.
Thank you, JC.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time. Be safe. Take care.